Attention, please. It's time for the final countdown. The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
I'm from that dirt. I'm all about that dirt. I'm throwing dirt. I miss that dirt. Gotta get back to I'm a dirt trackaholic. Call it what you call it. Saturday night, I am so Kenny Wallace on that dirt. I miss that dirt. Gotta get back to it. I've been the Kenny Wallace of the rap game. Ever since I hit him with that dirt track thing. Now nationwide, everybody knows my name. They're like, mama, that's Kenny Montgomery. He sings that song we like. Yeah, boy, that's me. Roll out the trailer, I'm flossing. Them Hoosier tires glossing. Them cold kind we're tossing. They know I came to wreck it, yet I rarely bring out a caution. I hit the high side, boy, I park it for Brian Clausen. I do them like Kyle Larson. Watch me throw them sliders. Party in Victory Lane, and y'all boys ain't invited. Your mama gets excited when I pull up to unload. Even your grandpa talking about, man, that boy too cold. We don't sit on 24s, we don't ride on spinners. I'm posted up on them 15s with...
We said before, we don't roll up on 24s, and we definitely don't roll on spinners. Welcome to another edition here to Dirt 360 TV. Man, this next guest I have, ladies and gentlemen, all the way, well, we'll talk about where she's at now. She decided to leave the Pacific Northwest on the West Coast. She is the female Fanon of badass, all-around racer. We'll talk about her everything a racing career. This lady needs no introduction. She's absolutely awesome. Why we're a little bit late is not because of us this time. And we'll give it to this young lady that she's all the way in Tennessee, Kentucky, Mississippi. I don't know where she's at right now, but she's in like a badass place that's way better than where we're at. But I'm gonna bring on this lovely lady, Miss Renee Angel. How the hell are you, young lady?
I'm doing good.
So we might have a little bit of a delay, folks at home. You're in a remote. We're not even going to tell them what remote area you're at, but you're in the country of Tennessee.
I am in a place where you don't even need to lock your front doors.
Bro, that's a whole lot better than where you lived at before, up there in the Pacific Northwest towards Seattle. Basically down in a little hole. I don't know how the hell you got you guys' trailer and everything in there. I'll give it to Shane. That dude, I mean, I drive truck for a living on top of doing this, but that right there, that's damn skill. I'm just saying, that man's got skill all the way to be able to make that 90-degree turn, drive it, then back down another hill, past the house, past the trees, bro. I don't know how he doesn't sweat. It's crazy. Renee Angel, the female Fanon, all the way from Pacific Northwest, now lives in Tennessee. How do you like it?
It's a little different. Took me about a month to get used to the humidity here. And then you got bugs and leaks and all weird stuff. So
yeah, I spent some time back there in Georgia for a little bit in the humidity. After taking a shower and then going outside and you're still sweating, is it pretty ridiculous? That's disgusting to me.
Yeah,
you can't even get in the pool to dry off. I mean, that's literally what you do is you go to the pool to dry off.
Right.
It's crazy, but you have a very, very beautiful home. Your shop is probably 4 times as big as my house. It's what is it like 50,000 square feet or something like that?
No. It's 60 by 72.
It's close.
Yeah.
Man, I don't even know where to even start. Basically, to start is don't let the angel part of Renee's last name fool you. That she's 100% angel off the track. Get you on the track, young lady, and it is a different story. It is watching. It's like, you ever seen Exorcist? You know, when it finally comes out, like, you know, it's like that is. I mean, the way that because you're so aggressive, but it's a clean aggressive. I've literally watched you since I've been knee high to a grasshopper. You've been one of my major idols in racing. I mean, this is how much that you were such an idol to me in my racing career and growing up, is that I stole your number. That you went to the track with the number one. I was like, well, I used to be 88. I'm like, well, shit, Renee's winning. I'm going with the number one. Then it went from the number one, and then you're like, well, shit, all right, everybody's. I'm going to the 23. Just happens to be one of my cart numbers would have like that came in 23. And I'm like, what the hell? And here's this little Josh just literally walking behind Renee. It's like, Renee. If it had like a tail, it's like, come here. You've been such an idol and such an icon here. Not only the Pacific Northwest, but across the board. You've done so much in racing for people that has absolutely been fantastic. I mean, to watch your career go from what it used to be to what it is now. And not saying that we're not spring chickens. Think you're what? You just turned 29, right?
Right.
A couple months ago. Yeah. So, you're getting up there in age and stuff like that. But literally it's watching fine wine grow. And it clearly showed last year at the Grand Nationals at GKK, and watching on how proceed you went in the accomplishments and stuff you did and where you started and where you ended up at GKK. Because GKK was rough on the Pacific Northwest people. Just got to say.
Yeah.
We're having some audio problems and stuff. Renee's internet isn't the best of where she's at, so we're getting a lot of stagger stepped of audio. So we do appreciate you guys' patience and stuff. So can we hear you now?
I can hear you now.
Okay. Go ahead and say what you're gonna say.
So what sucked about GKK, it was a little $1.98 part that took me out of the race.
Yeah, it was part of the fuel, or no? Yeah, yours is part of the fuel pump, right?
No, it was so we had issues at the Betty. We broke a cam holder. So I had to replace the whole cam holder, and when I assembled it, I reused the E-clip. And the E-clip broke. So the decompression mechanism came out and put a hole in the valve cover.
That's right. Yeah, because Ronnie Cox was a fuel issue. That's right. Yeah, Ronnie Cox was a fuel issue. What's that?
He stuck his. So yeah.
Oh, he did. Okay. I thought it was a fuel issue. Some of the people. Let's get to some of the comments and stuff here. Let's start with Ryan Force. All my favorite guys. Get out of here. I'm not your favorite. Stop it. Johnny Akar, Ryan, you didn't piss on Jensen. Pissed on. Oh my gosh. We had this young driver the other day. That was awesome. 14-year-old Jansen Eckhart. Really excited to be into racing. His dad's been racing for quite a while. You know his dad. So Ryan says, yeah, I did on there for a little. Right, Forza, this is what we call BFE. It is what we call BFE for sure. Johnny says she is enjoying all the new creatures around her property. Oh my gosh. These guys are awesome. Move East 2024, your Grand Nationals equals West. And that's probably what's going to happen too.
I've heard a rumor of where they're going to be, whether they actually end up being there or not. I hope they do.
I think I heard that same rumor. We're not going to say anything because we don't want to jinx it. Yeah. I'll just say it's not a flight for us.
Yeah,
Um,
it is for me.
Well, yeah, for you now. Shane's gonna be driving the toter. He's like, man, how many miles can we put on this toter home? Number one is where it's at. For the longest time. Johnny says, but you suck and she don't. Oh my gosh. It is on tonight. Ouch. You came, I mean, you've done everything, Renee, all the way across the board. You've been into karting, you've been into midgets, you did the Ford Focus deal, for quite a while, the picture and stuff that we posted on Facebook. That was part of that Ford Focus deal back in 2018. You've driven I don't know, have you driven sprint cars?
Nope.
Uh
I rode in the 2-seater at the Sill School, and that was enough of that.
that was enough. That was done. But I mean, Shane, you've been around auto racing. Shane used to drive tour late models and stuff. He's driven go-karts. He's driven, the midgets and everything across the board. Everything that you've done throughout your career. There's 30 plus years of auto racing and stuff with you. What has been the best thing that you've ever done? Or is that the funnest you've ever done? 40 years?
The funnest has got to be you.
So say that once again. Your audio broke up. Say that once again.
Probably the funnest thing done is that 42 years.
42 years, and it was micro or the midgets. Oh, okay. Yeah, your audio wants to break up. Oh, the outlaw carts. Oh, that's right. Yeah, because you drive cage carts and stuff too. That's right. Duh. Yeah. So, because your audio decides it wants to shut off right when you say what you like.
Of course.
So, yeah, right. So
would be the outlaw between Cycleland and Red Bluff. I mean, when you're racing with the CVs and all the guys that race big cars and stuff like that, it elevates your game.
I bet it does. We're talking about because Aiden, my oldest, is driving box stock. He went from beginner box stock into box stock and stuff now with the LO206. Chase is going to get a cart. Dad's got to get him a new cart for the winter season. So we're working on a deal with that. Dear Lord, I thought speedway karting was bad. This outlaw stuff sucks. It is a money pit.
Yeah.
And I definitely don't have that money.
Yeah.
It is crazy. We thank our sponsors so very much for providing for us and helping us, and you by hell, sold us a bunch of stuff at basically dirt cheap cost before the move, which was an awesome deal. We appreciate that. Gotta love the racing ladies, except let's see, who is this one? Excited to meet you. So this is Jody. This is the young man that we had on the other night. His mom just posted his stuff on YouTube. So if you guys don't go to our Facebook page, I hope you do, because that's where you're watching right now. That is where his interview and stuff, and of course this is where your interview and stuff will come on. So the move. Let's talk about the move.
Yes.
How fun and exciting was the move?
Well, it was kind of one day we're like, hey, should we move? And then we were coming back from GKK, and we actually drove through kind of the area we were looking at, and it was like, oh, this is kind of nice. And then I started looking at houses online, and then fast forward to November, we had 12 houses to look at in 3 days, and we had our top 3 of what we thought we really wanted, and the house we ended up buying was our number 1 house.
That is, you don't find that.
Right.
Go ahead.
We immediately put in. We immediately put in an offer on the house, and we kind of got in a bidding war. They accepted our offer. We gave them a couple extra weeks after closing to move out because of vacations and Christmas and stuff like that. And then we got our keys in January.
And then it was three. Was it 3 trips with the toter home and trailer?
2 trips.
2 trips. Thank God you had a big ass trailer and motorhome.
Well,
I mean, because
and then we got rid of a bunch of stuff too. So
right, yeah. I mean, you literally liquidated probably 50% of your house just to move back.
Yep.
But the full race shop and everything else, man, that thing went, guys. I mean, there was so much stuff. I mean, you had carts, you had race cars, you had cage kart stuff, you had engine room, you had dynos. I mean, you had a full complete race shop. And I don't know how the hell you fit all that stuff in where you're at. That was crazy. I mean, that was well organized chaos.
Yep.
And I'm not necessarily sure if that was typically the case, but when we were there, you're like, okay, yes, I know it's right over there. You'd walk over there and you'd move something over like that. I go, here you go. And I'm like, I need that too. And you're like, I know, that's why I'm getting it. And it's here. So we'll just put this in your pile, and then you're going to take this and we'll put this in your pile. And I'm like, what do we have for cost? You're like, we'll worry about that later. And I'm like, oh, okay. So we got all that stuff handled. BK came around. That was your last race here in the Pacific Northwest, was BK.
Yep. And I had the similar motor issues with that thing that I had at GKK, and it was just I didn't start the first heat race because I went to start it to pull out for the heat race, and it was dumping oil everywhere. So we had to go back to the backup cart, which I hadn't actually raced yet. And I practiced it on Friday, and it was a little bit faster, but I was kind of leery because I hadn't raced any of the 450 stuff with the centrifugal clutch. Well, come to find out, it was way faster than the cart that I planned on racing. So raced to begin with, but.
So the BK, you and Ronnie Cox, let's talk a little bit about the BK and kind of how that started. A great friend, family, love of all of our life here in the Pacific Northwest, Jeff Benson. We call him Buddha. Dated my sister. That was the craziest thing is to have Jeff date my sister for a couple of years. And then he was such an inspiration here in the Northwest. Loved racing, loved it. He was huge in the sprint cars. That's why we call him Buddha Kinzer. He loved, the Kinzers. I mean, he was huge into it. His passing was sucked, and then passed because of heart failure and everything else. You and Ronnie kind of got together and said, we kind of need to have this memorial, right? Kind of talk to us a little bit about some of the people that don't know the BK. And I mean, the BK is kind of like a mini UAS national. I mean, we get people from all over the country, and we've had some of the greatest people across the country through a lot of these. And it all started at Salem Speedway. So kind of run us down a little bit so people who don't know about the BK.
So it actually started at Oakwood.
That's right. I'm sorry.
Yeah. It was the first year was just, hey, let's get together and have a race for Buddha. And I don't remember how many carts we had there, but the place was packed. And you had people with KTs running in the BK race, and it was literally, if you guys are bored, go look on YouTube and search for BK1. The building was so small.
That place was crazy, wasn't it?
You could not see from one end of the racetrack to the other. And there were so many yellows. I thought it was going to run out of fuel.
So the Oakwood Arena used to be, it's on the backside of Lewis McChord Air Force Base. It used to be an old airplane hangar. I remember when I was young, that place, the ceiling, the insulation in this place was falling down. We used to, I mean, do you remember when the insulation would have like that and one of our mains like fell down on the track? We had to stop and we had to drive around it. Bro, it was, but it was the coolest little bull ring, little, flat surface. I mean, it had these walls that kind of had an angle to it. Ronnie Cox, I believe, found out that he was an F-15 at that place. Down the backstretch, decided to, so he would run a 15-inch steering wheel, no side pad, no nothing, open, Nerf bars and everything out, running an open KT, and he'd be like, rah! He'd be running like 4.5 inches of stagger. He would run up on the wall. It would climb the wall. It would come back down. And he would pass you on the outside and never lift. I'm like, the fuck is this? I'm like, I remember it was crazy. That place was nuts. It was a ton of fun. So after the first couple of BKs and stuff, then what happened?
Then the building that we had, the BK1 and BK2, the building that it was in, Gordy, the owner, passed away. So his kids said no more motorsports in here. So we had to move it to Salem, which in the competition for the race itself elevated it even more because the facility was better, the dirt was better, it was more capable of holding a big race like that. So when Chase came up and he bring his stuff up and Cervantes and all that, it just made it so much higher that it kind of, the number of people that showed up was smaller, but it was just so much more competition.
It made for
the from back east wanted to come now because it's such a. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. We're still on that. We're still on that delay. It made for the racing competition, like you were talking about, being a whole lot better. I mean, you were able to race side by side. You're able to actually, have a race. You actually had to have, actually got to have a race. And then after like BK5, what were you and Ronnie's thoughts? And I'm like, wow, this is attracting a lot of people, especially now in the UAS, and they're coming from all over the place. What were your guys' thoughts on that?
Well, it's like, how many years can we continue to have this caliber race? And, do we need to find somewhere else to have it so we can make it even bigger? And, even some of the smaller classes were getting so big. And, so many people are showing up. It's like, what do we need to find somewhere else to have this at?
So was it ever a question? As you're questioning, is Salem the right place to have it? Is now, we just had BK13. We had, hopefully, we should have had BK13 2 years ago. We should be on BK 16 now. But with that hiatus of having the pandemic and stuff and missing out on BK13 2 years ago, I know Ronnie was huge in struggling to try to find a place. That the years are going to be, the BLG over in Idaho, which then we had one race of the BLG. That place then got sold, so we couldn't have it there. We're talking about Monroe, couldn't have it there. And then then the pandemic or whatever like that kind of settled down a little bit and was able last year to rehab it. In that 2 years, did you and Ronnie kind of talk and say, hey, maybe BK13 isn't going to happen?
Yeah, but and moving it somewhere else, there's really nowhere that has a track that's suitable enough for that kind of racing around here, unless we move it, somewhere way away. But then it's going to, kind of defeat the whole Buda Kinzer thing.
Right. No, and I agree with you 100%. I'm gonna get to some of these questions and stuff here. Why we're talking about this. Samuel Strange, that kid, man, you talk about getting into a sprint car. Love Outlaw Kart Salem Indoor. You get Ernie. You need me, ma'am? Wow, ma'am, he's digging. Holy hell, he's digging, calling you ma'am, bro. Brian Williamson, hey Renee Angel, how are things going? Well, our internet sucks, so we know how that's going. So BK, so once, Mike Watson finally took over Salem and we lost Bob and Linda, who were the main people of Salem Indoor. was tragic. It was so sudden. Car accident and stuff took them. That was kind of like the Achilles heel. Like, wow, are we even going to have Salem anymore? I know the fair board was having an issue. Then it went to, who's actually going to run it, because Jason decided he was going to step back. Literally, if it wasn't for Mike Watson and his family to beg, plead, borrow, get loans, do a thing on their house, all that type of stuff to get the money to be able to do this. And then on top of it, the board in Salem decided, oh, well, hey, now you need a different insurance because of, because of certain things that happened. It was such a huge hiatus trying to figure out, like, okay, wow, what's really going to happen here in the Pacific Northwest? We're losing Monroe next year, which sucks, because a lot of the guys and stuff up there. We almost lost Salem. We don't have, Rainier. We only have that for the outdoor. We almost lost that. That's coming back up around. We'll kind of talk a little bit about that. The only place realistically is Spokane, Sunset Speedway. And that's it for the outdoor, but there's nothing for the indoor, Salem came around, Mike Watson and his family picked it up, put on an amazing last year. There were some hiccups in the bubbles, just like anything else. When you first start out, you're just learning. You go from, not knowing anything and was thrown into the mix. And went, here's Salem. And you're like, holy hell. What were your thoughts then, knowing Salem was coming back?
Knowing that the hoops that they have to jump through each year, because I've been going to Salem since early 2000s. So I've seen, when Heather ran it, and when Roger had it, and then I've seen the whole gamut of people, and it's just every year it seems like something comes up that the fair board throws in, and oh wait, you're losing this date, you're losing that date, or you got to do this, and you got too much noise, and when Mike decided to take over, it's like, okay, you got your fingers crossed and hope that he does everything that they want him to do, so we get all our dates, and with kind of along with all the track going away type thing, that was another reason that kind of made us decide to move. Is like, we've got so many tracks around here. It's like, okay, where do we want to race this weekend? Because you've got so many of them within just a couple hours.
So speaking of that, a great move to Tennessee. You have 6 or 7 within a couple hours. Now that you've been back there and you've felt all of these things out and everything else, what has been the welcoming community and stuff from having you? Because you're known. That's all the way around. You are known in the go-kart racing community and racing communities across the country. Renee Angel, if that name comes up, they're like, we know her. We know her. We know her. She's badass. And now you're back in Tennessee. What has it been warm welcoming? Has it been kind of standoffish? What's the community been like?
So we went to our first clone race, and not knowing, we've been to a clone race back here before, so I kind of knew what to expect. And we get there and we get through practice, and I'm like, okay, what am I missing here? And as the day went on, it was like, okay, we need to do a complete 180 on our tire game, and it was like, we did that, and it was like, we're still missing something here. What is it? It's like, I know I'm better than that. Ended up not making, so I ran 4 classes. So mind you, that sounds like a lot, but there's 27 classes that are racing that day.
Oh, we found that out when we went to Kentucky.
Yeah. So you run practice, you qualify, and then you run a main event. Some of the classes have a B main. The ones that don't, if you're not in the top 24, you don't race.
Mm-hmm.
So one of them, I wasn't in the top 24. The other two had B mains, and I was in B mains. And the other one I made the A main. So I was like, okay, here, let's try and get our strategy for the main events all sorted out here. And by the last main event, it was like, let's change motors because something's, we tried everything. And I'm like, let's change motors. And it was like, okay, maybe this is part of the problem. So we kind of reevaluated our motor program and got that situated. But just the approach that you have to take, it's like you have to be 2 steps ahead of what you think you need. Compared to UAS, it's a little bit different because you're always reacting to what the tires look like, to where the clone doesn't have enough horsepower that you can't rely on reading the cart and the lap times. You have to like be way ahead of it, which it's a completely different mindset.
So running back there.
Yep.
So running back there, was it, I mean, you talk about tire management wise, total different compounds, total different race services and stuff. I've seen, we run the soft tires and stuff up here. They run a lot of hard tires back there. Was that some of the struggle that you had too? And then having, because the clone stuff is, they're pretty even, and it's almost like single file until someone either gets kind of, moved up or whatever, and then it's freight train past them. Was that some of the struggles that you were dealing with?
A little bit. The thing I always with the UAS card is you always have to go harder. To where with the clone, I didn't start off soft enough.
Oh, you didn't go soft enough. Oh, okay. Oh,
right.
Got you.
Yeah.
Because I know GKK through a lot of.
When you speak a clone, it doesn't have enough.
I know GKK was, through a lot of people and stuff off is because, it was supposed to be a soft tire type deal and it went to a hard tire type deal.
Yep. Yeah. And for the UAS, I think it was abrasive enough that you still needed a hard tire, because the tire that I ran on my UAS cart was one that I had run in a heat race back in Arizona like 5 years ago. And it had been sitting ever since then. Yep.
That is so crazy. Missy sat there and says to you, I love Missy. We're not that far from Tennessee, just saying. Williamsburg.
I know. I looked at the schedule, but I didn't find anything that didn't conflict with what I already had planned. So,
I love Missy. We talked about this on an earlier broadcast and everything. And Mike Lane, we're gonna try to get Mike Lane and stuff on here. Because without Mike Lane, realistically, wouldn't be part of this. UAS type deal. When he came down for the BK, him and Terry, announced on my show. I had no clue who he was. No clue about the UAS. I've kind of been out of it. Was more into like the big car stuff, and then we came down to Salem and then kind of started filming a little bit. And I'm like, hey, we want to be part of this BK deal again. We stepped back from crewing on a big car, a modified, and then got into the live streaming. Yay! And then Mike says, we kind of started talking about, like this UAS Grand National and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, I'm like, where's it at? And it's like, well, it's in Williamsburg. I'm like, where's Williamsburg? Like, Ohio. I'm like, okay. He's all sitting there. He's like, okay. So he says, well, you got to get there. This is the dates. This is the time, blah, blah. So we got everything. Mind you, we're all brand new. Clearly, we're only a couple years into this thing. And we're like, I don't know if I can film a UAS Grand National. These guys are expecting top dollar. So we went and I borrowed and got loans and all that type of stuff, and then got this package together. I'm like, okay, cool. It was me, Trisha, and my 2 boys at the time. And that was a crazy flight. That was a crazy adventure. But Missy and her whole crew, I have never felt more welcomed. For somebody that had no idea, to come into her facility and do the things and stuff. I mean, she from the time we got there at the gate, she and her crew were amazing by far. What do you need? Internet? Okay, hook it up here, put your antenna up here, shoot it across, Bob. What else do you need? Do you need food? Okay, we'll get you this. What else do you need? I'm like, it was sit there. Oh, thank no, it's not. Oh, thank you, Missy. You know for a fact you're a gangster lady. You have it was the funnest thing. The only complaint I had, and it wasn't even the track. They had a badass the stand, right?
Yep.
Where the announcer sits down below and we sit up high. They have like this black it's like ash or something. Aiden and Chase were covered in this shit. We had to throw away clothes. But I mean, when you're talking about, 5 and a 3-year-old and all that, I mean, throw away all day long. I mean, because they grew out of it.
Yeah.
But it was by far one of the coolest deal. Absolutely, and ran perfectly. I mean, it was this, and if you weren't on Missy's time, you weren't going. Sorry. She runs a tight ship. Look, it's now. This is the time. I rendered. She says I rendered that. Hey, Missy, anytime you want us back too, we are I'd love to come back because they just renovated that track too.
Oh wow.
Oh, and I hear it's faster. Tennessee, so you've been back to a couple tracks and stuff now. Tell us about what the favorite track you've been to so far.
I've only been to 2 so far that I've actually raced at. Talladega Short Track. So apparently when we were there, the track sucked. And it was fine with me. Fine with me. I mean, they had to re-prep it between qualifying and the main events because it was starting to break up a little bit. But apparently that's not the norm there. And then we ran UAS quarter point race at Penton in Alabama. It was similar clay to Talladega, but it was pretty high banked. It was fast.
Are you talking about it? It's an attention getter?
I didn't very good because I had to with one of my tires and it had a flat right off the bat.
Oh no.
So
you're telling me that the tracks and stuff back east are attention getters.
Yes, definitely.
So Hunterstown is about 9-second lap. Come to find out, a new track record was just set here a couple of weeks ago at 8.9 second. That's like 82 miles an hour or close to.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope you have your neck brace, the tether, because I hear, I hear some neck muscles going to be sore on Sunday. So what's
actually had to use a helmet leash 3 times in the last 40 years.
Well, apparently you're going to be needing it back on the East Coast.
Yeah.
GKK was one of them?
Yeah.
And I hear that too. I hear more back east tracks or whatever, they utilize those a whole lot more, especially on the junior kids too. Just found out that Chase, I'll post a video or whatever like that. I'll send you a video too, is that Chase was running Rainier. We're going to kind of talk about Rainier real quick. Was running his cadet cart, his little 50cc against a junior 1 and junior 2s. This kid needs a bigger seat because his cojones were this big. He never lifted and ran the outside of Rainier. On the outside of these kids and was in and out. And I'm like, oh God, no, here's the wall. Okay, you're cold down straight. But it was literally no fear for this kid, right? And so, but by the time the main event and stuff, his head started leaning and he finally was passing a car and got up into the loose stuff or whatever like that and tagged a hay bale, which kind of broke a tie rod end or whatever. It's all good. But you could see, and I told Aiden, I said, hold the camera. I said, because Chase is hitting the wall. I'm sorry, but I knew it. It was instinct. Yeah. And 2 laps later, he was over there, and you could just see his head going. And watching the GoPro footage, you could see where his head is leaning, and he's kind of going towards it, and then coming back. Renee Rainier is CKA is kind of fallen. And it's understandable. There's a lot of people and stuff that was part of Cascade Karting Association. Glenn Lippy Tower, I can't thank that man enough for everything he's done throughout the years and stuff, especially everybody that has been part of CKA. Lee St. James, or Lee St. John. I think that's
St. Paul.
St. Paul. Jeez, yeah. I'm looking at a St. James up here. I've got like two screens and stuff open, and we're looking. I'm sorry. St. Paul is now putting on, or trying to put on, Rainier. Is trying to take it over from CKA, which is, I think, a good thing because it still brings the Speedway guys. Hopefully, it might bring the Speedway bikes and stuff back there. But he's putting on outlaw races, which, as you know, around here, we don't have any outlaw tracks.
Right.
And so it's a good thing for Rainier. He's working with, the gentleman who owns it, the Sportsman Club, all that type of stuff or whatever. Remember your years at Rainier. And talk to us a little bit about that.
I hated that place.
I did too. Oh my God. It was so sandy when I raced there. I hated going there. If we had to go there for anything, I hated it.
If it wasn't dusty, then it was wet slick. And it was like no in between.
and in sand, remember the sand grit?
Yeah.
Oh God, I get sand blasted. They're trying their hardest. We've had a couple races and stuff there now. The very first race, we had so much rain, which we weren't supposed to have rain. And they worked their tails off until about 5:30, 6 o'clock at night. We didn't get done till about 1:30. Thank God we brought the motor home because as soon as they were done, Aiden crawls out of the cart, goes in, takes a shower, and goes to bed. It was nuts. This last race, really, really dry, but they don't have equipment and stuff yet. Real equipment to actually till up the track, water it, and lay it back down. So there were some whoops. There was some, there were some things, but each and every single time we've been there, it's gotten better and better and better. Talk about you as a racer in general, what it is to lose a track.
When you have like in the Washington situation or Washington West Coast situation, when you have so few tracks to start with, you have to like kind of rally with everybody to work together to support the tracks that still exist. Like Spokane, for example, there's a bunch of the outlaw kart guys that are racing there now because they don't have Montana anymore. And the Idaho stuff, there's, I think, one of those tracks that still exists. You got to work together and, not step on each other as far as schedules go.
What do you see? What's the biggest difference that you see from West Coast to East Coast when it comes to tracks?
East Coast, you've got, probably 15 different, for lack of a better description, series. You've got the Maximilian series. You've got the Maxis series. You've got the Burris, I think it's Southeast series. And then you've got all the weekly stuff. So you've got, an unlimited number of races that you can go to. It just depends on what tire you want to run, what motor you want to run. You've got all the UAS stuff. The KT stuff around here pretty much doesn't exist. You have to go to Hunterstown for that. Outlaw kart stuff, nothing in Tennessee or Kentucky or that area. We have to go to Iowa for that. But still, English Creek runs, I think, every other week.
So do you think the racing is more competitive or about the same as it is here on the West Coast?
Way more competitive because you've got kind of I call it like big teams that have such a knowledge base of information that they give to people who support, whether it be motors or chassis or whatever. Somebody will call up, okay, I'm going to this track this weekend. What do I need to know? And they've got, 200 people that run that chassis that they can tell them pretty much, okay, you need to do this, this, and this.
So leaving the West Coast and then going back East Coast, I mean, you're so dominant and stuff here. Do you now feel like an outsider looking in?
A little bit, but I want to kind of do stuff my way. I'm not the kind of person that picks up the phone. Hey, what do I need to do? I like to figure stuff out on my own, and I do things differently than some people do. And I think some of the stuff that I do will actually work or work better. And I want to find that out. I just don't want to be a sheep and follow what everybody else is doing.
And that's understandable and stuff too. I mean, you've always kind of been that way. I mean, mind you, I've went to you. I can't even count how many times I was kind of the sheep, like we were talking about at the very beginning of the broadcast. When I was young, I'm like Renee, especially when it came to the KT stuff. And then it was your knowledge. And I'm kind of gonna gloat a little bit. It was your knowledge and Jason Gibbs' knowledge and Chris Hager's knowledge and all that type of stuff to beat someone at the UA or at the IKF Grand Nationals one year at Spokane. I'm just saying, it wasn't by luck though. It was you. Listen, if I'd have screwed up at any moment, it was by far when I saw that checkered flag. I still can't find videos on that. I wish we had videos of the IKF Grand Nationals there at Spokane. So if anybody out there in La La Land has any videos of Spokane IKF Grand Nationals, it was awesome. Especially, it was.
And it was that whole race that started Shane and I's thought of we need to understand why we're doing the changes we're doing and what they do to the cart.
Yeah, and it was literally pure luck because I wasn't even supposed to run that race. It was actually Chris Hager's dad that came up because we sold our big motor to what's his name from Spokane because Jason's like, hey, he just blew up. You still have your sedan. Do you want to? I'm like, well, no, not really. I'm like, I literally just got it back from Collins. I'm like, no, but we had that other super stock motor. So we put that one on. Then we had the KTs, and then we ran the pipe, and then second day I was like, okay, cool. We ran, KT. I think I finished 4th or 5th or something. And I was loading all up, and Chris's dad comes up and goes, what are you doing? I'm like, packing up. I ain't racing no more. And he goes, I'll be right back. And I'm like, oh, okay. And it was such a huge field of people and stuff to run, the sportsman class. I'm like, okay. So he comes up and he goes, here's your can. Go put on a dry clutch, go do this, go do that. And it was literally within 20 minutes of getting out onto the race that we finally got everything put together. We put on we took off the Horseman wet clutch, put on the dry clutch, put on the can, did all this type of stuff, went through tech, did all that, and went out there. And I think did we start midfield? I think we started midfield. And we kind of went up through the field, didn't we, together?
Yeah. Well, and then we ended up, I think we had a single file start because we had wrecked so many times that they ended up going single file.
Yeah, with like 4 or 5 to go or something, right? Yeah. And you were so I don't know if it was the afterburners of you or if it's just my butt puckering up or whatever, but we took off and never looked back. And all I could think of, because I knew it was you. I knew for a fact it was you. And all I could think about was like, no. I'd go into it, and it just the last 3 or 4 laps, it just was so smooth. And I'm like, she's not gonna let me win. She's not gonna do this. And man, when the checker flag came out and I looked over my shoulder and you were right there, and I think if I remember right, you pointed at me, and I'm like, oh God. And I could still, the freck, it's still on my arms. It was by far one of the coolest races and stuff to race with you. We've raced for year to year to year, having JR Parrott and stuff in our corner, building motors and stuff too, and then chassis setup or whatever, running the Legend chassis that time under Jason Gibb. Man, it was fun. God, it was fun. And then watching you and your career and stuff, and progressing and going forward, and now looking at you at the UAS level is insane. Some of these questions I have here, Johnny says, it will get black and bites, need helmet straps and possibly shoulder supports. Johnny says, what a hole. Some of the other comments stuff. Samuel says, yes, he runs the Pacific Wing Outlaws. You're right, sir. And he also sat there and he says, was sad to see Big Sky to go.
Yes.
Yeah, not that was in Montana stuff, the Big Sky track, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
That's one track I've never been to that I've always been kind of on a bucket list.
Yeah, it was. We'd go there every year for the 4th of July, and we'd
Speaking of 4th of July's, young lady, what did you do for your 4th of July?
not a thing.
Really? Now you're far enough, outside of town and all that. You kind of have a main road that just kind of sits outside of your place, not too far. What's it like back there for the 4th?
It was really quiet. It was like 10 o'clock. I mean, we're so, I don't know if you call it so far out, but we don't have street signs. We don't have, there's one stop sign on one of the roads on the way to town, but we don't have street signs. So if, you're giving somebody directions, use your GPS.
You just go by Bob and Maybell's place. Once you hit that place, you're going to take a left. You're going to go down there, and there's going to be this one cow. He ain't talking to you, but he'll be there, right? He'll be at the fence. If you show him a carrot and you tell him where you want to go, so I need to go to Renee's house, he just kind of looks over and says, "Moo over there." I mean, is that's pretty much what it's kind of like, huh?
Yep.
Your closest neighbor
we have,
how many miles away?
They're actually we're on what direction is that? Northwest corner of our property. So our neighbor is like really close. But our property goes way back. So
yeah, that is just I said, got it okay by Shane, but I'm just saying one of these nights would have like that. I mean, we're gonna come back there sometime. And if I have to sleep in the shop or whatever the case is, but I got to come back there and see some of those awesome races.
I'm getting the guest room all set up. So
yes, ma'am. Talk a little bit about UAS Grand Nationals coming up, young lady. You excited?
I've actually got a huge Outlaw Kart Speed Week before then.
What?
Yeah.
You realize, hold on, and I haven't done this yet. I don't know why. I've just been slacking, but down here on the bottom, ladies and gentlemen, right there, the Road to the UAS Grand Nationals, August 19, 2023, right here on Dirt 360 TV on our Facebook page. Of course, we will have that for you guys. We'll have more details on cost and times once we get closer to that. We have less than a month for that, Miss Renee. And then the UAS Grand Nationals, they're at Hunterstown at 8.9 second lap times, whatever. September 16th, 2023, right here on Dirt 360 TV Facebook page. Now you have a big race before the road or before actually the Grand Nationals?
Well, so we were actually talking about this at dinner. So we go to Iowa.
Okay.
In Illinois. We race on a Friday, Saturday. We have Sunday off. Then we race Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And we come home.
Wait, hold on. Wait. Go back. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and what?
The Outlaw Karts.
Holy hell.
There's 5 different racetracks, and there are 2-day shows at each track.
Oh my God.
And we come home, and there's actually a race at Millbridge on the Wednesday before the Hunterstown Road to Dirt Cup race. That we might go hit Millbridge on Wednesday and then go to the point race.
Oh my Lord. This is happening right now. Lady, holy crap. So you have in 2 weeks, you have a month of racing until, you're within like 4 or 5 days out of that month. You're not racing. You have a whole month of racing.
Pretty much.
Damn, lady. So hell, got to be physically fit, my understanding, for this Hunterstown type deal. So if you ain't physically fit by that time,
yeah.
Dang, holy crap. So with that being said, are you ready for the road? I mean, besides with all that extra and stuff, are you ready for the Grand Nationals itself?
My backup kart's not ready yet. It's still hurt from BK. I'm waiting for parts on it. The primary kart is ready to go. So
now
what tires?
What motor and stuff are you going to be running?
So my 450 with the Hager belt drive thing.
Yep.
I've got another TRX motor that once I get done building my shop, we're actually building a dedicated like an engine room in there.
Yeah.
Once I get done with it, I've got a TRX motor that's electric start. I'm going to put a belt drive and centrifugal clutch on it.
And see that I think that's where a lot of people are going is because we had a discussion here not too long ago, 2 years ago at Spokane. We were talking about Jordan Stout and that whole deal with him stopping, after the big wreck at the, was green flag, wasn't green flag start, but started fourth, but had to start in the very back because we actually didn't take the green. But under UAS rules, it states that if you do stop. And if you have electric start, you can restart yourself and go. But if you don't, then you're kind of screwed. Do you think that is the way it should be in the UAS, or do you like it both ways?
You should be able to keep your stuff running, especially with the centrifugal clutch. I've spun out a couple times now and have zero issues keeping my stuff running. And we're building top fuel motors, so they don't like to run to begin with. But still,
ask Hager.
Yeah, you got to keep your stuff running.
Right.
The electric start. I had an issue at one of the BKs where I got taken out and couldn't. Ended up. I was back before I had the electric start stuff, and killed it. And it was like lap 3. And I was kind of pissed off about it. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to build an electric start motor.
Because the BK is a huge deal. I mean, like we talked about, it is like a mini UAS Grand Nationals. If you're just joining us, we're almost an hour into it. We were talking about with the female Fanon of Renee Angel driving the senior UAS Allstar driver. Not only that, but clone driver. KT, I mean, it's a laundry. I mean, we'd have to make our own damn banner on the things that you've done and accomplished and everything throughout your 40 plus years of auto racing. Holy cow. And to watch you move to Tennessee, it was sad. A lot of us and stuff were sad, to see you go, because, when we go to the racetrack, we expect to see Renee Angel and Shane to come in, and if we have questions and stuff, we go over there. Or if we go to the Grand Nationals and you ain't racing, the community support that you do. Spokane, I've never seen that trailer so packed with people, and you didn't even race that. You were a support. You were a support for the Nationals. The biggest person or whatever is Hager. Hager broke a mount, right? Nobody had a welder out of the whole group of people. Nobody had a welder. She came over to you, and then he welded it wrong.
Yeah,
had to come back, recut it off, and re-weld it because it was on wrong. I mean, you do so much for the racing community, all the way across the board. You get some of these younger drivers. I've showed both Aiden and Chase, some of the videotapes and stuff of, like watching cage carts and saying, okay, hey, look, watch how she does this, watch how this goes. And then, having, them now look up to you. I mean, it's like a generation of stuff to look up to you. Does it ever get old to kind of have that, that feeling? Or, I mean, do you even recognize that feeling when people, they look at you knowing that, you're such a huge support in this racing community?
No, it's kind of refreshing to help people. Whether it's Spokane at the Nationals when I couldn't race, there was no way I could have sat there and watched the race. I had to be doing something just to keep my mind off of, my God, I can't race. What am I going to do?
Right.
And then, having people ask you questions, and I like to teach people to answer their own questions.
No, and that's, I mean, and you do that. I mean, you'll give them the opportunity stuff to ask a question, but then you look at them and go, okay, what do you think? Mm-hmm. Where do you think this would work? And then if they're like, dude, if we're really struck, you're like, okay, well, this will do this and this will do that. What else do you think? again, I mean, you've been such a huge support here in Pacific Northwest. I wish you all the friggin' luck back there in Tennessee in your month of racing. And while we have 3 weeks off and then race again and then 2 weeks off, then race again. Soon we'll be back there. Yep. Soon. I get we have a plan. We can't say it. I can't say it yet. There's a lot of things coming, not only for the Dirt 360 side, but of course the RPM Sports Network side. Here in a couple of weeks, we've got a huge announcement here in the Pacific Northwest that the RPM is going to broadcast a huge race here in the Pacific Northwest under the RPM umbrella. But until it's final, we don't want to say anything, don't want to jinx anything or whatever. We can't thank all of our supporters. Literally, I work 60-hour weeks. I mean, we're paycheck to paycheck. We do this to broadcast, people like Renee. You are, I always say it, you're such an amazing person, a huge supporter and stuff for us. When we first started, and I can't thank you. I can't thank you enough. You've been such a great friend, mentor over the years. You have so many years of racing. Just don't get hurt in your whole month of racing prior to the road, okay? I'm just saying, because if I don't get to see you, realize that it's going to be an emotional, and it's going to be emotional. It's going to be an emotional trip. So, if you guys have any other comments, questions, whatever like that, let us know. We got a couple minutes left or whatever. Comment over there on the comment side. Can you see the comments coming in?
No.
Oh. Well, we don't want to put that one. No. These. So we love this type of thing. So like the last thing of Samuel, we can sit there and put their stuff on there. Was sad to see Big Sky go. We love to see your guys' comments. If you guys have a question for Renee, that this is the time to ask. I mean, it's absolutely awesome. Before we go, talk about some of the people who helped you out through the years.
Oh boy.
Is it a loaded question?
No, there's just so many of them that have helped little tiny things. Wow, I think it probably all starts back with Jason Gibb. I was fed up with the whole straight rail thing, and he kind of said, here, I've got this cart for sale at the end of the year. I'll sell it to you. Mike Collins, he built my motors. Don at CMC, I can call his cell phone in the middle of the night and he'll answer. And Ralph at Uncle Frank's, he's always there when I have a question. Who else? I've got a couple people now. Now that we live back here, that I can say, hey, okay, I'm stuck on this whole tire thing. What do I need to do? Am I doing this right? Or am I doing it wrong? And so,
well, like Brian Evans Jr. just went back to Iowa and won the KT deal back there. Scott Bully and Tyler Bully went back there to help him as a support. Won the 750 KT. Race back there, $750 in their pocket. He's getting ready for the Nationals. Scott and Tyler are coming back from SoCal. She's going to be running her last junior UAS. She's excited to run that. Her mom's not that excited for the speed, but apparently she's being they're making their mom forced to go this year. Because usually she stays home with the dogs and then watches it here on Dirt 360. But she's coming back this year. Come to find out, maybe. What is your biggest thing that you want to get out of this year's Grand National?
Making the A main.
Don't we all? 22 start, the rest go home.
Well, yeah, and that's like BK. It's like my whole goal every year is to make the A main, because I know if I can make the A main, I can work my way through the field. Obviously, they had a lineup snafu this past year. They photocopied the B main lineup and they cut the top line off of it. So Yeah. So I was supposed to be in the B main, but when they posted the lineup, I wasn't on there. So I was like, okay, I'm in the A because they hadn't posted the A main yet. Well, after
Oh,
they
no.
ran the B main and posted the A main, I'm not in the A main. And I'm like, what happened?
Where was this at?
It's Salem at BK.
Oh, at BK. Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So
Yes.
they're like, we'll just put, the first two carts that were supposed to be the front row of the B main. We'll just put you guys very last to the A main. And I'm like, okay. So yeah, I worked my way from 17th up to, what did I end up, third?
Yeah. Yeah, it was a good race.
Yeah. And the UAS Grand Nationals is the same thing. If you can survive, you're going to be, top 5.
Well, and see, that's what we were talking about when I had Ben Taff on here a week or so ago. His main goal is to just make the A's. Once you make the A's, then at least you have a chance. Because we know, like BK, we thought the carnage at the road was going to be the backstretch into turn 3 and 4, right? So that's where our camera was. We're like, okay, cool. And then then somebody made a comment like, hey, it has a sun glare. And we're like, yeah, okay, we're going to go ahead and move it. Still thinking that is going to be out of turn number 4. Nope. No, that carnage was right underneath our tower, our production tower in turn 1. That was the craziest thing, is to sit there, in production. I'm watching the screen because I'm not watching the track or nothing like that. And then switching cameras and then, hearing the noises like, what the hell? And it's right underneath our feet. I mean, and the cool thing about it is that Green got us an awesome scaffolding. It was like a 14 by 14, and everywhere that we've gone, we've very, very, very much been privileged, and we can't thank you guys enough. And Ron Pritt from Hunterstown is amazing and stuff too. He's literally the whole UAS community, but our thing overhung by like 3 feet over the fence. So I mean, we were right there at track edge, and having the camera, get right at to it. It was cool. But BK and stuff or GKK was awesome.
And I had run the KT race there, so I knew that visibility down the front stretch was an issue. So I kind of knew what to expect.
I still blame it on Evan C's motor because it smoked down the front stretch. It was crop dusting everybody else behind, but no, it was
all the dust.
It was all the dust, because you think about it. I mean, you got 22 of you guys, and earlier it wasn't that bad, but once you get 22 of you guys out there, it just became a storm. I mean, it was going into blindness.
Yeah, and you couldn't see anything. If there was nobody in front of you, you still couldn't see anything.
Yeah, absolutely not. No, it literally was the first 2 guys that went into turn 1 that came out of that alive, and we're stopped down on the backstretch into turn 3 while the whole carnage and stuff was over there in turn 1. We're like, they're going to restart that one. Any other comments, questions, or anything like that, Renee? Any shout outs you want to do prior to us leaving you in Tennessee?
Can't think of anything.
You are amazing. Thank you so much for being a part of this show. Thank you so much for being such a huge support to us. You guys are awesome. Make sure you sit there and love the dogs, kick Shane in his butt, all the good things you do every single day. Tell Shane we love him. He's awesome. Such a huge supporter and stuff too. When is he going to get back into a cart? Him and his 6'9".
Never.
Why?
Nope.
I want to see it. Listen, this is the thing. I want to see you two at least a 3-lap duel.
No.
Why not?
I don't want to fix the equipment when he's done with it.
I just saw him behind you too. I think I did. Or maybe you guys have a ghost there in Tennessee.
No,
but oh my God, that's awesome. She says no. Oh my gosh, Shane. Oh, that's awesome. She says no. I don't like fixing equipment. Wow, that is all right. Well, my dear, well said. So awesome. Renee, congratulations on all your accomplishments and then the move and everything. I see that you got even the Tennessee tan going on. It's definitely a blessing, to have you as a friend for all these years. You've been such an inspiration to us. Huge.
Did you see that picture that I posted when we were packing up? What I found from Tri-Cities?
No.
Remember the marshmallows?
Yeah, I remember the marshmallows. Yeah.
I had my little 12-volt refrigerator that was in my trailer. I found that, and there was a pack of marshmallows in there still.
Get out of here.
Seriously.
Oh my gosh. So we went to, was it like a Billigan's or something like that? Or what was it?
Yes.
And
something Roadhouse, whatever.
And we were throwing peanuts on this thing. And man, you talk about a bill I almost had to pay. Holy crap. So this is how competitive Renee Angel is. So we're sitting there, we're all sitting around. There's a bunch of us racers. And inside this place, it has like this Eve or something. It has like this tin on it, right? You know, like the wafer tin. And so we're throwing peanuts and stuff up there. It's like, well, the first person to get into the beer or whatever like that has to pay for dinner. We're like, okay. And so we're throwing these peanuts and stuff in. And I mean, it's getting close. And our bills they were into the hundreds. I mean, I you know, and so I'm like, oh fuck, I'm like, all right. So and you're getting close. I'm like, oh god, here we go. Here goes a week's paycheck. Came up, bounced, hit the cup, and I looked. I'm like, yes. Oh my god! And it was so awesome. That was such good times. We'll have to do the peanut. We have to do the peanut throw again.
Yeah.
That's so awesome. Oh my god, the memories. You can make me cry.
Or nightmares.
That's true. Yeah, well, chalk that one up to that one. Yeah. The drama. You're such an amazing lady. Okay. Thank you so very much. Stick around. Don't go nowhere, Renee. Okay, we're gonna talk to you after the show ends here real quick. The female Fanon, all the way from the Pacific Northwest now to Tennessee, all the way to the Tennessee. Simple Great. Don't let the angel in their name fool you. She's a gangster on the track. Don't let the kindness be weakness. Once we see her again, it'll be at the road to the UAS Grand Nationals. We'll be here right here on Dirt 360 TV. With that being said, Renee, thank you so very much. And everybody at home, thank you. Keep yourself tuned to Dirt 360 TV for the next podcast, the next driver that we sit there and feature. Talk to you. See ya.